Welcome to the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. If you're looking to understand and end emotional eating and want to have peace with food, you are in the right place. We focus on intuitive eating and help you feed your soul. I am Kim McLaughlin, your host. I'm a psychotherapist, coach, author, and speaker, as well as a former long-term dieter. In today's podcast, we're discussing play as self-care. Play is often thought of as something for kids that we need to be serious when we're an adult, and that can include play. In this episode, we're going to explore the importance of play as self-care, 3 ideas to help you determine what is playful and what is your plan moving forward for playing more. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. Today we are talking about wellness tools. I've done other wellness tools and you can find them on the podcast. Today we're doing wellness tool number 4, and that is playfulness is self-care. And I can put is as a capital, is self-care. We know that playfulness, playing is important, and you've heard about it, but I think it becomes difficult as we get older to really be in that area of playfulness and engage in fun, and then to actually see it as part of our overarching, our overall wellness, because we know that play, when we are into play, it reduces stress, it increases your quality of life, and it is enlivening mentally and physically. So it is a super great tool to decrease that overwhelm if we tend to go towards food as our way of managing life. The starting spot can be, do you have enough play in your life? And let's start looking about that. We want to first go to what is playful and self-care. So like, how do you know if you're being playful? How do you know if this is actually happening? Like I said, I think we lose track of what's fun when we get older and when we have a lot of responsibilities. And I think it comes back to that personal exploration, that personal wondering, what is fun for me? And every time, I promise you, when I've asked people, what do you do for self-care? What do you do for fun? What do you do for play? They look at me blankly and say, what is that? I've lost track of that. So let's talk about some certain ways to begin to determine that. And the first way is to experiment. I love this idea because this is the idea that we try different activities, try different things, and observe how they make us feel. Because if we're really in the spirit of play, we should feel good afterwards. We should feel taken care of and enlivened in some kind of way. And so doing activities and then asking afterwards, did that feel like play? Did that feel like fun? Is that my self-care? Because it could be, it's not your self-care. It could be, it was something that other people do that you think you're supposed to do, but it didn't really feel like fun. I was just talking with somebody earlier today about, where they live, and they go to the lake. And I said, oh, where you live, I don't think I could do it. I really love the beach. I love the ocean. And they told me that they don't like the ocean. So for them, it wouldn't be playful. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be self-care if they were going to the beach. For me, it absolutely is play, self-care, and fun. So it is a personal determination. And remember that the things that work for others won't necessarily work for you. And it really is an opportunity to try again and experiment with something else. Also, spending time in self-reflection about what truly makes you happy. It's really, self-care isn't always about relaxation. It's about pursuing something that really you love. it can be enlivening, it could be active, or it could be low and or like yoga or something relaxing or meditation. It's really very personal, and I think it's determining what type of play you'd like to have and then doing more of that. I really like to encourage people to look back on when they were younger and what did they love to do? What did you love to do when you were younger? What did you love to do when you were single and you could do whatever you wanted? I spent a lot of time being single before I got married and had kids, and I look back and go, gosh, I love those things. And what for me, that when I started reintroducing those things that I used to do when I was single and when I was younger, it actually became very playful for me and really part of my self-care. And I would not have thought to integrate that into my life until I had this really self-reflection on what did I used to do? What was fun for me? And would I like to do that now? And would that be something that would embody play for me at this point in time? And what was interesting to me is that often I found that the answer was heck yeah. The things that I used to like to do, I still would like to do. So that was really interesting to me to have that kind of self-reflection. Another way to look at play and to wonder about your play is to look at how you'd like to balance play. We just talked earlier about there are some kinds of active kind of play, and then there are some kinds of quiet kinds of play. And what kind of play are you interested in at this point in time? And it's almost to me like you could have a 2-column list of these are my active play ideas, and these are my slower, meditative, kind of introspective ways of play. And that both can exist. Play does not mean that it has to be always active and that you are where you're sweating. I was trying to think of the right word, where you're sweating. Like you don't have to be sweating to have play. So it could be that you're interested at this point, if you're trying that balance point of play that is more quiet. And so that might be reading a book. It might be yoga. It might be meditation. It might be listening to music. Or it could be that you're interested in some kind of play that is more active. And that could be swimming. That could be walking. That could be playing a game. There's also the balance of that kind of introvert, extrovert kind of idea. Do I want something that's more just focused on me by myself, where I'm really refueling myself alone? Or is this where I want to have play and refuel myself and my self-care and be with other people, right? That more extrovert idea. And I actually find that you want to balance the introvert extrovert ideas to have both of them involved in your play at various times, and also the active and more inactive kind of play, that it makes it where it's really more of a rounded kind of experience of play. And I really want to point out that there's no one size fits all kind of approach to fun and self-care and play. It's really, really personal. And it's that personal journey where it depends on really what's going to make you feel fulfilled, relaxed, recharged, happy. And what I love about what we're talking about today is that this is the opportunity to explore and discover what might make you feel more enlivened and happier through the kind of play that you do. Another thing that comes up for us that I think really makes us stop having play is that we don't think we have time for playful activities because life's awfully busy. I talk to people every day who feel overwhelmed and overloaded, and they don't know that they really can have time for play. And so there's not the encouragement, or they don't find the idea that that would be something that they would want to do. But if we start looking at play as the opportunity for self-care, that is one of the many pieces of our wellness tool. Play is critical, actually critical. And we're going to talk more about that later, why it's so critical. I think of what what can we do if you think that you don't have any time to play? The first thing to do is make that list of what you like to do for fun. Because once we start getting a list together, then we have an idea about what we might want to do. As we're filming this right now, we're in summer, and that often means we're going to do those summer kind of ideas. We wouldn't be necessarily at least where I live, we wouldn't thinking about going to the snow or any place cold, because that's not really where the sun is at this point, at least in the States. So it's making a list of what's fun and having it be seasonal, and having you look at what you might like to do. I've talked about this before, that I have a huge list of things that I add to. Actually, I have a new thing I want to add to my list today of things that I want to do, playful things I want to do. And I just read about something that some friends of mine have done, and I thought, I really want to do that. So it's going to go on what I call my 100 list. And so it's all these items on a list that I literally have written down. And I call it like my bucket list, the things that I really want to do. We've talked before about bucket lists in terms of your summer bucket list, which I'll link that in the show notes for you if you're interested in getting a copy of your summer bucket list. But it's really what's on your bucket list. What is it you want to do? And keep track of it, have a list of it, and then you can start going over what you want to do at various points in time. So that leads me to the second item about if you're feeling overloaded and don't think you have time, is making a schedule. So this is where I make my list and I put it on my schedule. I actually this summer have a list of things that I want to do and try. Some of them have been going to the beach. Check, that's been done. Obviously, I want to do that more. We have scheduled to go a family outing to a baseball game and to ride the ferry. I've been doing my stand-up paddleboard and our kayak. So those are things that are on my list, my playlist, so to speak, and they get put in the schedule. They are things that we do. We just went by the ocean last weekend, and it was on my list to use the kayak and the stand-up paddleboard. We took them with us. We took them out. I got time at the beach. So my play was we were really able to do it because I put it in the schedule. So that's something to do. And it doesn't have to be something big and monumental like going to the beach. It could be something smaller, like taking a walk, taking a bath, whatever it is that is your idea of fun. Put it in the schedule, because what we know is that what gets put in the schedule gets done. There was another idea that I came up about how to create time, or how to make time to have play and fun. And I love this idea that I read about, which is an idea of creating a mini challenge throughout the day. And it's this thought of challenging yourself to do something fun for a few minutes throughout the day. Like, what could I do that is not about driving to the beach, getting my stand-up paddleboard ready, going out on the ocean, but more like what could be something that could be done in a minute, 2, 3, 5 minutes. What's something that I could do that I could challenge myself every day to do something fun? I started, oh my goodness, one of the things I've been doing daily that is so much fun and has now become part of my play is I do Wordle. Wordle is a little it's on the New York Times website, and it's a 5-letter word that you pick the letters, and you find out I think you have 6 tries to figure out the 5 letters for the word. Oh my gosh, that has been so fun. And that has been something that I've been doing daily as part of my personal play. It is just playful. There's nothing else I get out of it except it's a lot of fun, and I make it part of my day. I also do some other things throughout the day that are just little things I do that are super fun. I have little things. What else do? I do an app, kind of a a minute long meditation. So that to me is fun and playful and makes me feel good. And it goes on the lines of that more relaxing kind of play. But I have things that I do throughout the day, and this mini challenge really can help you add in play in a way that is small, bite-sized chunks throughout the day, right? What is play that I could do throughout the day? And the next thing you can think about is, when it comes to play, we can sometimes not allow ourselves to do it. So finding support. Who's a friend that might want to play with you? Who's a family member that might want to play with you? I promise you, if you have kids, they would love to play. They would love to do something playful. I was just out swimming last night with my daughter, and she was super playful. And she said, I'm going in the pool. Who wants to go? And it's like, yeah, me, I'll go. And so we played and had lots of fun. So that was a supportive person that encouraged me to get into play. So you can help them get into play, and they can help you. So you can assist each other in terms of being more playful. It helps add another line of kind of motivation, right? And then if you put it in you figure out what you're going to do, you put it in your schedule, and you do it with somebody, the likelihood that you're going to do it is a heck of a lot greater. So those are some ideas about when you are thinking that you don't have enough time. These are ways to build time in. So lastly, what I want to do is talk about why it's literally critical for you to engage in more play for your self-care. It's critical. It's just not about escaping your busy life or your busy world. Because what we know is that playing stimulates your mind, it stimulates your brain, it stimulates your body, and it just is a time of not being so serious about life. And it becomes a time of really creativity. And I was thinking of this term, creative juvenation, where you are that right side of your brain. You're engaging that right side of the brain in playtime, which we often don't do because we're so into get things done, get business done, pay the bills, all the things we have to do, make the dinner, go grocery shopping, that we do all of that left side of the brain and really don't play and have that right side of our brain. What I know without a doubt is that engaging in playfulness really makes me a better person, because I find that the more playful I am, the more play I do, the more when I come to the table with more serious things to deal with, I'm more centered, I'm more focused, I feel better. And it gives me this opportunity to balance out the seriousness of life and work and bills, along with the playfulness and silliness of just being totally like a kid, and really being active in a different way. So I want to encourage you to try this. I want you to try, I love having doables, and I would love to hear, write in the comments, what is the playful thing you're going to do? What can you do today? Have a mini challenge of what's the playful thing you're going to do. My playful thing is I'm going to go meet with some friends in a little bit. So that is one of my playful things. I've already been to the gym today. So there's playful things that have already been on my list. And yes, for me, going to the gym is playful. I laugh, I get to try new things. It's enlivening in a physical way, and that feels like play to me. So it's super good. So I encourage you to take a step towards more playfulness, and to really look at playfulness as a critical part of your wellness, your emotional wellness, your mental wellness, and also your self-care. I really would love for you to tell us what you're doing. I love hearing ideas, because then it inspires me to try more things. I love having the mirror of watching what other people do and going, that might be fun. I might like to do it. And I'll put it on my list of 100 things that I want to do or would like to do, my bucket list. And then I put it in my calendar. So I am Kim McLaughlin. I'm from Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. Thank you all for listening, and let's go play, have some fun as our source of self-care. Bye, you guys. Thank you for joining us on the Feed Your Soul with Kim podcast. We love bringing you fresh content to help you end emotional eating and start feeding your soul. We would appreciate it if you would subscribe and leave a comment about our podcast so others can find us.